We have people stacked on top of each other today to bring you Wednesday content. Stugotz has entered the contingent flying to California portion of how the Jets are going to break his heart.
Yeah.
Contingent flying to California. The Jets might have Aaron Rodgers. They're talking to him.
He was there to greet the jet airplane, Woody Johnson's private airplane at the airport.
His
I mean,
private
that's a nice
jet?
touch. Yeah, his private jet. Aaron was there to greet him. I mean, that is nice. They flew across the country. I mean, here is the deal with the Jets. This is Nathaniel Hackett's job, okay? And I walked around my house muttering, Hackett, get it done. You have one job. You were hired because Aaron Rodgers loves you, loves your offense, had back-to-back MVP seasons when you were the offensive coordinator. You don't leave until Aaron's on that plane headed back to New York with you. That's what you were hired for. If you can't land us Aaron Rodgers, I want nothing to do with you. How about that?
Well, I was hoping to introduce who was here today, but there was no stopping Stugotz from getting in immediately to Nathaniel Hackett better do his job.
I'm excited, Dan. I mean, this, seriously, if this comes to fruition, and we'll find out hopefully today, maybe tomorrow, maybe never, because it's the Jets. But if they get hit, it will make the last 42 seasons worth it.
What?
Yep, 42 of them.
Come on.
All 42 seasons.
Come on, Stugotz.
Dan, it will be
All
a
right,
great day. It will be my Super Bowl.
We'll get to that in a second. We've got Amin has flown in.
Sorry about that.
I mean, I did want to just tell people, the audience listening on audio, that's getting a different experience with our show because they never know who's in on any day. Some of it's on video, some of it's not on video, some of it's live, some of it's not live. I was trying to explain to the audience. Thank you for that contribution. That Amin is here, that Greg Cote is here. Greg Cote Wednesday after having a Michi.
Just want to point out no one met me at the airport.
Why would anybody meet you at the airport?
It's a nice touch.
You know, I mean, if it feels nice to be wanted.
Yeah.
Well, we can get into Nathaniel Hackett's need to stalk Aaron Rodgers, according to Stugotz. That just
Not stalk, just stay.
Just stay with him
Yes.
and go everywhere with him until he becomes a New York Jet.
Yeah.
But I would like, before we go any further into, because Greg Cote's here, and he has not only said that Lamar Jackson is someone the Dolphins must go after, must go get, but he has also said that President Biden, he's written this in a column, has to step in to allow Djokovic to play in the Miami Open. And I want to make official Greg Cote's descent into click-grabbing columnist in his 60s who's trying very badly to just write about the things that get him engagement.
Well, that's not true. Come on now.
I saw that going
Never
viral
do
yesterday. Someone wrote something begging for Novak Djokovic to be included in the. Oh wait, no, it was Ron DeSantis' open letter. Yeah. Are you a GOP operative now?
No, I'm not. And this is not on brand for me because I'm anti-vaxxer, as I made clear in the column. But here's the thing: Biden says 6 months ago the pandemic is over. Okay, and all of the protocols are going to be officially lifted in May. So we're just a few weeks from it officially being over. It just seems to me now you can no longer say it's a health crisis for Djokovic to be allowed in the country. It's become a punitive thing. There's really no reason to keep him out anymore if the pandemic is over.
But you want Biden to step in and do it because he can.
Sure he can.
It's Djokovic. That's a fine, Greg.
Yeah, what did I say?
You said Djokovic.
Okay.
Yep.
I was thinking of the egg I had
Yolker
for breakfast this morning. I'm sorry. It was great. The best egg I've ever had. But I don't want to.
What? Hold on.
No. I
Hang on.
You laughed.
No. That was his loser game show sound.
okay.
But you get a laugh.
Wait a
For the
minute,
Yolker.
that
Thank you,
doesn't get
thank you,
explained
thank you.
like
He gets
that.
a Yolker.
Also, Jessica's here and she's got an F1 minute.
Oh,
wow, I was hoping so.
You've got it back in my day.
I do.
wow, on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
I was hoping so.
I mean, we've got a lot going on today. We begin, though, with Greg Cote's contention. And, Billy, I don't know how you feel about this.
I want to hear about the egg, if I'm honest.
I rarely make eggs. I abhor scrambled eggs, but I love a nice over easy egg if there's an accompaniment of toast, which I did this morning. I'm not a breakfast guy, but this morning I did. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm making myself a fine couple of eggs. They came out just perfectly. Just perfectly. Best egg I've ever made. And so when I meant to say Djokovic, I said Djokovic.
The Yolker.
Yeah, exactly. Thinking back to the glorious breakfast I had just a couple of hours earlier.
I heard from Whitty yesterday. There was lots of talk about yolk yesterday behind the scenes and the perfect color yolk. And Whitty was telling us about eggs that he took, a carton of eggs that he bought for $8 for a dozen. And the person at the register was surprised at the quality of these eggs.
Yeah, it was more, I got judgment for having purchased $8.30 eggs for a dozen eggs. It's not like the ones where you get like 18 for a dozen eggs. The yolk is perfectly amber. You get way more egg content. They're flawless eggs. So much so you feel the nature in them. That 2 times I've gotten feathers on my eggs, which
Oh my
at
God.
first I thought was gross.
A blessing.
But second, I thought this is so pure, so natural.
Show me this egg brand.
It's incredible.
Have you ever had the eggs in Europe and noticed that they're extremely orange versus our American eggs?
There's different color yolks. That's what I'm learning.
Well, I mean, those are good. Orange.
Much
The more
better.
orange, the better.
I can't really eat eggs anymore. I OD'd on eggs during COVID. I can only have a really good egg now.
Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard Show. Juju, have you ever felt the nature in your eggs?
Do you have a picture?
Of the feathers?
Yeah, show
I
me
do.
a pic-
I do actually.
Yeah, show me your
Oh
web.
my God.
Weird.
That's terrible. If I cracked open an egg and there was
Throw
a
it out.
feather in there, I would
Yeah.
sue somebody.
Yep.
I'd sue a chicken.
Sue somebody.
I don't
I
think
would.
it's the feather. Is it the feather in the egg or it's the feather in the carton?
Feather on the outside. No, on the outside of the egg.
How would the feather
feather's
get
stuck.
inside the egg?
Magic.
Well, I thought isn't that what he was
That's
saying?
what I meant,
That's
yeah.
what Greg Cote was asking, whether or not the feather was in the egg when it was broken
That's a
open.
con. That's a con. They have like some Salt Bay guy just.
That's what I
with
said
feathers.
yesterday. I was like, that seems fake to me. Like they just threw it on like glitter.
You think it's fake? You guys think it's a garnish that they're throwing it on? Look, if I want someone to eat these eggs and say they felt the nature in them, I'm going to throw a feather in here.
Exactly.
Last stop before they seal up the carton is they take a pillow and they smack the shit out of it a couple of
Exactly.
times.
That's correct. You got to justify
Some
charging
drop
somebody
eggs.
$8 for a dozen eggs.
I'd
I
like
throw
to-
them away. I mean,
I'd like to start. It's a shame that Tony isn't here because he's usually the one that kind of goes in on some of these ideas. I'd like to start a company where we buy the cheapest eggs and repackage them in expensive packaging and throw fake feathers on
I
them.
would know the difference.
And you would not. I don't. If we did a
I
great
100%
egg test,
would.
I don't think either of the three of you would know the difference between an $8 egg and a $1.
Every
I agree.
27th carton we throw in a beak just for good
Yeah.
measure.
Maybe not $8 versus $1, but I could tell you like a good European egg versus an American egg. They just hit different over there. They're so good.
Is it the chickens?
I think they're just better quality. I don't know how to explain it.
I think we should do this. I think we should now have an egg test.
You can't fly eggs in from Europe. I tried.
I think we should see whether the $8 egg that Whittingham has. I think if alleging, Billy questions your allegation that you could tell. He doesn't think anybody here can tell the difference between good eggs and bad eggs.
Pepsi Challenge, but for eggs.
That's right. Eggsy challenge.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, as well.
Where's
at
the laugh?
At LeBatard Show. Are
Guys,
you?
come on. There's bureaucracy involved.
You guys know ostrich eggs are like a
Excellent.
dozen eggs? Like
Timing is shitty.
if you were to eat an ostrich egg, it's 12 regular eggs.
Yeah.
Billy,
They're
have you
very
seen
expensive.
the videos of people trying to open the ostrich eggs? You need like a hammer and chisel, and you have to
That's
go
correct.
around the top of it, and then you have to like it's crazy to get the yolk
Mm-hmm.
out. It's so thick, and the white part of the egg is
a lot
so
of work.
thick,
I
it
mean,
doesn't just like pour out. It's
right.
crazy.
It's true. You need a
Power
hammer.
tools, yeah.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, as well. At LeBatard Show. Are you disgusted if you find a feather in the carton of your egg?
Whitty was still searching for the picture of the Huevos, but the iPhone now, if you just search egg, there's a chance that the software will pick up on that. I do that sometimes with dog. Anytime I need a quick pick me up.
Which brings me to Tom Brady's denial yesterday. And we talked about it very excitedly. We had a football segment break out on a Tuesday where we were yelling at each other about Tua, Tom Brady, or Lamar Jackson as the Dolphins starter. It's one of the most uproariously stupid conversations that's ever been had around here. And
been
Tom,
waiting for that conversation for 20 years.
So Rich
I mean,
Eisen overheard something at St.
Awesome.
Elmo's in Indianapolis, and he made the story
late night.
that Tom Brady still to Miami was a thing, and Tom Brady denied it, by going to the internet with a cat video and saying that if you think he's not fully retired, you've never adopted a 2-month-old cat, which is interesting for a number of different reasons, including he wins, correct? Again, once he goes to deny that flippantly and just laughing in your faces, you care so much about him, and he just goes to the internet where he will sell you underwear in the future, and he's holding up a cat video, which are the most popular things on the internet.
You can leave a cat at home for days. Man, this is not a strong denial.
You can. I feel like you can. You're right.
Yeah.
Like dogs, you have to come home every couple of days or make sure that dog is being taken care of elsewhere. A cat, you can leave alone for weeks. You
But
can?
not a kitten. Kittens need a little extra TLC.
Maybe.
You didn't say you bought his daughter a cat.
I was surprised by the cat. I imagined him as a dog guy, like a big, fluffy golden retriever. Yeah.
He bought it for his daughter.
Yeah.
You know, he loves his daughter
Iron dog.
more than we love our daughters.
Yeah.
That's what Tom Brady's about.
That's true.
Witty's egg's gross, by the way. By the way,
I finally have the feathery egg here.
Wow.
Yeah.
it's like purple.
Awful.
Yeah, it's a
That looks like a
reddish
damn good egg.
with some
Let me see,
gray
Mike.
feathers.
Mike, hold on.
Yeah.
Fresh.
Wrong time of the month.
Why is Rich Eisen off the hook, by the way? Can I just ask that question? Why is no one holding him accountable for making this up?
Well, I don't think anyone but you has accused him of making it up.
Well, it was immediately rebuked by the actual person the same day or the day after.
I know, but
You
Stugotz
believe
never
him, though?
believes any of the denials.
Wait, you're upset that someone is not getting shit for making something up?
No, I'm upset.
Eisen's all about his credibility, though.
I'm upset that if we say something, it's like,
You're
well, you
different.
don't have any sources. You guys are dum-dums. You're idiots. Blah, 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 blah. And then Rich Eisen says the exact thing. You're like, oh, Rich Eisen, he used to do Sports Center with Keith Olbermann. Oh, it must be telling the truth, Rich Eisen.
Now, who
And
is
then
this
Tom Brady's like,
impression?
no.
Who is this impression you're doing, Billy?
Everyone else.
What person is this? This is
Whose impression is this that you're doing? Is that
this
supposed to be me asking
no,
you?
this is supposed to be the host of the show.
Excellent work by the two of you. Lamar Jackson, Greg Cote has said in print, is the person that the Dolphins should go after,
Yep.
period.
Of course, and now, especially because they've put the non-exclusive tag on him, he comes cheap. 2 first-round picks. Of course, they'd probably have to negotiate that up. But, yeah, I would make I'm pro Tua, have been for 3 years, but you make an exception for Lamar Jackson. They don't have a first-round pick next year, of course, thanks to Stephen Ross tampering, but they have 24 and 25 first-round picks. They can absolutely make it work.
So Lamar Jackson, famously unvaccinated. Huh. We're getting mounting evidence.
See, I didn't
over
know
here.
that. I didn't know he was
you didn't?
unvaccinated. No,
You didn't?
I don't keep track.
You don't?
I think President Biden should make him the Dolphins quarterback.
He should. He should sign an executive order. I wonder if he has that power.
Can we make fun of, for just a second, the comic absurdity?
The next column's about Aaron Rodgers. I feel it.
What am I writing?
You know what you're writing.
I'm writing. Why is everybody so excited? Why are we not pretending that he's 40 years old and he's got a year and a half left in him, and then he's going to sag like a cushion on my couch?
Next article, you're going to invoke the phrase "plandemic." I feel it.
Plandemic? That's not bad. Let me write that down. Hang on. Plandemic.
There is
Got it.
comic perfection, Stugotz, for the people who have followed the Dolphins in this market for as long as Cody's been covering them in this market. That Greg Cote is writing a column about get Lamar Jackson. They cannot get Lamar Jackson until after the draft.
Right.
But the fact that they don't have the draft pick because they were trying to get Tom Brady, who they had actually gotten but shouldn't have gotten because they got him wrongly, and their coach left and filed a racist lawsuit, and it's the only thing that kept Tom Brady from being here. So all they got from their pursuit of Tom Brady is the inability to get Lamar Jackson is unbelievable art from this franchise. Art from the franchise that they can't get into the Lamar Jackson game because they got caught trying to steal Tom Brady, had stolen him successfully, and if not for the racism lawsuit, would have actually pulled it off.
Let it play out, Dan. It's not over yet. I mean, the original plan of getting Tom Brady appears to be still alive, according to Rich Eisen.
He denied it with a kitten.
I don't care.
I would take the Dolphins' incompetence one step further. because of their hot pursuit of Deshaun Watson, his market value goes up, leading to the Cleveland Browns giving him a deal that was so ridiculous with its full guarantee that it's now the outlier in the NFL that other teams are paying for. And now Lamar Jackson's price is going to be out the roof because partly of the Dolphins' pursuit of Deshaun Watson. So it all comes full circle.
Stugotz has taken every position when it comes to the business of Lamar Jackson, and his latest.
Find an agent. I mean, seriously. What is he doing navigating this important part of his life on his own without someone who's experienced in the field of making you more money and has relationships inside the NFL with the owners, the people who would be willing to pay you $300 million, whatever it is you want in terms of guarantee, $1 million more than Deshaun Watson, whatever it is? Why would you not have an agent? Dan, I said it last year. Lamar Jackson should not have taken a snap for the Baltimore Ravens until he had a contract in place. His agent would have told him that. Lamar rolled the dice. And after week 3, he played really poorly. Like he did. He got hurt later in the season. But he had 17 touchdowns. 10 of those were in the first 3 weeks. And then he started to play poorly. And now he's having trouble getting the money that he wants. And I feel like if he had an agent, 2 things would have happened. He would not have stepped out on the football field last year. And even if he did, he still would get the deal that he wants this year if he had an agent. But he doesn't. He's going about this on his own. And who would do that? Who would go about a $200, $300, $400 million contract on their own without having the experience of negotiating these kind of contracts and without having the relationships in the NFL that you need to get this contract done? It's a weird move by Lamar.
I feel like 3 months ago you argued it was a great business move to not give 10% to an agent.
That was then. This is now.
4%.
Oh, it is. What is it in football? It's not 10%.
4%.
Is it 4%?
You agree, though, right?
I do not.
Why? I mean, he's stuck in a bad spot right now.
Because he has been in this spot because he and the NFLPA believe that it's important that once they set the market at Deshaun Watson, that Lamar Jackson as MVP of the league can't be taking less guaranteed money than that. And the Ravens are like, we can't guarantee that money. Your body, injuries, everything else. We're going to do this within the rules to limit you. We're going to run the risk of alienating you, bothering you, our star player, and we're going to now allow you to test the market and maybe take 2 first-round picks or just call your bluff on the market will tell us. You think Drew Rosenhaus going out there on behalf of Lamar is going to make that more appetizing to the Carolina Panthers? I do not.
I think it gives him a better chance, yes.
I don't believe that the Carolina Panthers would want Lamar Jackson more because Drew Rosenhaus or some other agent was involved. They either want him or they don't want him, but right. I don't think an agent's going to talk him into it. You do?
Yeah, I do. I think an agent would have talked Lamar Jackson into not playing last year, and he would have gotten it where he wanted to get it, which was Baltimore.
That's not a real thing, though. Le'Veon Bell sat out a season. A quarterback in his prime is not going to sit out a season. That's not real. Like, when does that happen? When does an MVP of the league sit out a season at 26 or 27?
It doesn't mean they shouldn't do it just because it hasn't happened before.
You're saying an agent would get Lamar to do that, and I'm telling you there's no agent that's getting a quarterback to do that because none's ever done it.
I feel like an agent would have a better shot of convincing the player, hey, this is the smart thing to do. Just sit. Let them see how bad they are without you. You're everything to the team. Just sit, rather than Lamar have to make that emotional decision on his own. Take the emotion out of it. That's all I'm saying. It's hard to be non-emotional, Dan, when your team is your teammates and your coach are counting on you to be there. An agent would say, hey, your teammates don't care. Like, yes, they care about you being out there. They don't really care about Lamar Jackson as a person. If they did, all his teammates would tell him to sit down.
You're giving an agent a lot of credit.
I am. They're good at their jobs. Yeah, Look at Daniel Jones's agent.
And adults can be good at adulting as well on behalf of their best interests without giving up what would be, in his case, tens of millions of dollars to an agent to get a contract that I believe he can get without an agent.
He's not getting it. I mean,
he's not getting it for a variety of different reasons that include the rules, Stugotz, but you put him in a position of sitting out a season at 26 or 27 years old as a starting quarterback. Nobody does that.
Nobody.
It's never been done. There's no such thing. Like, you've got an agent like wielding power in a way that doesn't make some of the people who are participating in this adults, as if he doesn't have a management team, as if it's Lamar Jackson walking into these meetings by himself and getting run over by suits.
I don't know who's representing him, who's walking into these meetings. I know he played his hand wrong. That's what I know.
An agent probably would have advised him to sign something ahead of last season. It wouldn't have been the fully guaranteed contract. It would have been an improvement on guarantees. It would have been a large percentage of guarantees, but very clearly Lamar Jackson is holding out for the fully guaranteed Deshaun Watson contract, and that was an enormous precedent that was set by the Cleveland Browns, a league-changing precedent that was set by the Cleveland Browns, and Lamar Jackson is very clearly holding to that. I'm not going to sign a longer-term deal until every penny is guaranteed, and it sent him on this winding road for the last, 18 months, and I can't imagine an agent would have changed him of that particular conviction.
And so why on earth is he going to hire an agent and give him 4% for not doing exactly what he wants done? The whole point is that there's no room for negotiation here. Lamar Jackson wants a full guarantee. And now he's seeing Daniel Jones being given $40 million a year, an average quarterback making $40 million a year. He wants his, and he's in his prime. This is the time to get it. The Deshaun Watson thing is real. You know, the Ravens don't want to acknowledge it. They're saying, "Oh, that's an outlier." Well, no, it's a contract that was given, and now other teams have to deal with that. This is Lamar Jackson's one shot to get exactly what he wants, and good for him for playing it tough.
But he's not, Greg. He's not getting what he wanted.
He will.
Stugotz.
How do you know?
It's early.
You have teams releasing statements saying, hey, we're not signing this quarterback.
It's March.
You have a quarterback who was injured. You have a quarterback since week 3 last year didn't play very well. I don't know what we're doing here. So you guys are acting like having an agent doesn't help. It's absurd. 99.9% of the NFL players, of athletes, have representation, have an agent who's experienced in the game. The one guy who doesn't is floundering around right now without a team. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Look, having an agent right now is as useless as wearing a mask to prevent COVID-19.
What are you doing?
It's just ridiculous.
He is. He is going to get. His son has been making fun of him for this, and Chris Cote is the one person who is not in today. But
by design,
Greg Cote is going for the clicks here in his 60s with his columns, and I do believe there are all sorts of columns that this show can give you if you want to make the evolution of yourself as a Miami Herald columnist. Just somebody who's like in character, in a costume, actively going for more clicks on that he didn't used to get, because he's he's doing things that can be weaponized.
What character?
I don't write things that I don't believe. It's as simple as that. I believe they should go after Lamar Jackson. I think the price for him is relatively cheap.
The Biden thing, though, I mean,
I think Djokovic has paid the price. I think if the pandemic is over, quote unquote, which Biden said, then act like it. Quit punishing somebody.
Billy, forgive me. You were interrupted by Amin's assortment of characters calling out your character, but your character was indignant. Why did you wave a hand at Mike Ryan there, Greg Cote? Why did you wave him away? Because he's doing a show in your ear that seems to be better than the one that I'm doing here. Why did you just wave? You laugh during segments because there's something only you can hear that the audience can't hear. What is Mike Ryan saying to you?
He's trying to feed me lines that make it seem like all of a sudden I'm this right-wing zealot who's who's pro, anti. Look, I'm not that person. I have more shots. I got more vaccine shots than the rest of the world combined.
That's not true at all. That's simply not true. That's simply
Shut up already. Christ.
I want to hear some of
talking
these.
about?
I want to hear some.
All right. Let's let me
Trying to feed him a line about
All right.
5G for 5 minutes.
5G. Unbelievable.
Billy,
Hey,
what were you saying about Rich Eisen before you were interrupted by Amin's assortment of characters being the same character that Amin always is?
I don't know. I don't remember anymore. There's a lot. There's a lot of people here today, Dan.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Too many, some would argue.
Yeah.
Greg, you call them politics, I call them politricks.
There you go. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. By the way, I love the idea of two guys in St. Elmo's drunk
Yeah.
noticing Rich Eisen and saying, "Hey, let's talk loudly. Let's feed Rich Eisen a ridiculous rumor." And then Rich Eisen's going to dutifully report it as if it's actually something said by somebody who knows their ass from a hole in the ground. You know, it's ridiculous. The Tom Brady to Miami rumor is never going away. Tom Brady is going to be 73 years old, and there's still going to be somebody saying that he's going to come out of retirement and join the Dolphins. And it's just never going to go away. And it's become a joke. It's become a running joke. Quit that already. You know, concentrate on them getting Lamar Jackson, like I say.
I'd like Stugotz, speaking on behalf of irresponsible people, Stugotz.
Yeah.
It doesn't work if you don't have the right timing to mention the fentanyl
He's
crisis.
not Stugotz. He's not going to repeat your terrible jokes
Seriously.
without thinking about the repercussions of them.
Thank
first.
you, Jess. Thank you. As it is now, I'm painting myself out of a corner. I'm a liberal man.
Greg Cote has had integrity until he wrote the column about Djokovic.
You've been weaponized.
Wow.
You know what?
I'm just kidding.
It's punitive right now. That's all it is. It's punitive
Well,
right
they
now.
let him play in Australia, right? So
Right.
Australia had a really strict ban, and then they decided this year, fine, we'll give him a pass.
Right.
And Miami or the U.S. still has a COVID vaccine travel restriction,
Right.
from what I understand.
Yep.
Even though Florida is trying to ban the vaccine
Of course.
in Lee County right now.
Right.
Republicans passed a resolution last week to ban it, called Ban the Jab. So our country's politics are all over the place.
Right.
And I get where you're coming from. I'm not exactly sure if I take your side on it, because I don't think that the country has done enough since COVID started to actually do anything to stop the spread. And I don't know if the current minimal restrictions they have are actually doing anything to prevent any more people from getting infected. Because like you said, the president said COVID is over a year ago,
Right.
even though 500 people are still dying every day from COVID.
As we speak, 2,300 people are extremely ill with COVID. And people, you're right, people are still dying from it. It's a pandemic that's never going away. It just is something that's going to be contained and of minimal gravity, but it's never going to go away. When Biden says the pandemic is over, he means the social distancing and the masks and the overt signs of it. But you're right, it's never going to go away. But if the pandemic is over, according to the president, and they're lifting all restrictions in May, I think it's punitive to continue to not allow Djokovic to make a living.
Why are you and Stugotz so comfortable, both of you, not merely claiming that Rich Eisen has no credibility and doesn't have more credibility than you, even though he's going to the scouting combine and talking to people who are informed, and you guys are not doing that. And Greg
Right.
Cote specifically, when the Miami Herald wants to send him to Buffalo for a big game against the Dolphins, complains that it's too late in his career for him to go and do that kind of work.
Now, blasphemy.
Rich Eisen is around football people. Why are you guys so comfortable claiming not only that his sources are no good, but that he, for some reason, was hammered drunk at St. Elmo's?
No.
Both of you have done this.
I meant the people who fed him that information were hammered.
Right.
They'd been-
Well, so
they'd-
is he. So
they'd-
is Eisen. If you're late night St. Elmo's at the combine, chances are you're hammered.
What time does St. Elmo's even close in Indianapolis?
Oh, it's
No
like,
idea.
Apparently
no,
it's like 2 or 3 a.m.
yeah, it's rocking.
If
Mina
you have to
Kimes-
ask, you can't afford it, Dan.
And
That's
that spicy cocktail sauce alone will get you hammered. You don't
You've
even
been
need
there.
alcohol.
You've been.
Yeah. Oh, I've been. I
Yeah.
love St. Elmo's.
That's
On
where
Mina's
everything happens,
podcast,
right? Yeah.
They said that like NFL people will shut down bars in India at 5 a.m. during Combine Week.
Yeah,
which sounds
sure.
terrible.
It's a party.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that shipped to my home. It's so good. The St. Elmo's.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. it's
But you've
excellent.
been to St. Elmo's. You've
I
been
have.
there for the combine?
Yeah.
Yes?
I have not. I've been
No?
there for a Heat Pacers playoff game.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Not the same.
No, it isn't.
It's not. It's not a hotbed of football information. I will say that Eisen loses some credibility when he does, like Cody, say that a couple of birdies told him about
Yes.
that Miami Brady story.
Yeah, a couple of birdies.
I'm all for a couple of birdies. I'm fine with
How
that.
did that start?
But if me and Billy say, hey, we heard this from a couple of
Yes,
birdies,
it's ridiculous.
we get
I
blasted.
agree.
Eisen says it, and
I
every
agree.
network runs with it.
Right.
I mean,
I know the origin of a little birdie told me. There's a famous, dead for decades, there's a famous baseball scout named Bertie Tebbetts. And I think he might have been a manager as well. But Bertie Tebbetts was a famous scout. And if he told you something about a player, you could take it to the bank. And so if a little birdie told me, run with it. Bertie Tebbetts, R.I.P.
Holy shit, it's real.
Is it? He wasn't just making that up.
I thought he was making it up, like McGillicuddy was going to make an appearance somewhere.
You held a yellow flag in your hand. Were you about to? Did you mean to hold the red flag, the challenge flag?
No,
Like
no,
you-
no challenge. I was just going to throw a penalty on the play. False start, rambling story that he made up. Repeat second down.
But who looked it up? Somebody looked it up, and it's found out that it is indeed true that Greg Cote didn't make that up. He knows the origins of a little birdie told me. All right.
No, the scout is a real person, is what we've confirmed, not the origin of it.
right.
Okay.
Hold on now. Hold on.
Listen,
give me that red
Dig
flag now.
deeper.
The story I told is true. It's as real as ivermectin being a legitimate alternate remedy for COVID-19. If you don't have anything even worse to put down your gullet. But seriously, Bertie Tebbetts, I'm not making that up. And it has the ring of plausibility, which is in my favor.
Well, but all that you
name.
got to throw the flag. I mean, you got to either throw the flag or don't throw the flag.
I had to wait until he made that last
The
mistake.
next
and now
play
it's
got
gone.
off
There it is.
already.
I know they
No.
did get the
No.
You didn't
Yeah,
get
it's
it
too
out
late.
there.
Bring it back.
You
Yeah.
were all excited about Bertie Tebbetts being a real person, which I knew he was a real person, but you confirmed the story as being accurate. It's in no way accurate. It's Greg Cody's making that up. What are the origins of a little birdie told me? Somebody please have this information for me that is real so Greg Cote can stop making things up.
From a cursory search of a wiki page, it seems biblical in nature. Comes from Ecclesiastes 10. Curse not the king, no, not in thy thought, and curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter.
I like Greg's better.
You
Yeah,
were so
thank you.
excited when you got that origin, weren't you?
Ecclesiastes 9 was much better.
Whittingham is always
Eyes lit up.
just sitting around waiting for somebody to send him something from Deuteronomy. Just anything.
To read out loud.
Just, so that he could just step up to a microphone. I was going to say lectern. What is it, Greg? What is
He's relentless over here.
what?
Mike Ryan.
Greg, he's not. These are your thoughts. They are not planted by Mike Ryan. These were supposed to be happening in the shadows. What is he relentless about?
Okay, what was that again? My judgment is more questionable than Maricopa County.
That's a good one, Mike.
Okay. I didn't deliver it very well. I got to be more convincing.
Well, but this is what's hard about what we're doing right now. And I'd like to explain it to the audience because it's where I wanted to start the show when I was talking about introducing everybody. The giant mess that we've made of this show, where Greg Cote doesn't know when Mike Ryan's talking to just him, delivering him great line after great line. And all he's doing is laughing at his own private show that he's doing with Mike Ryan in a way that all we're getting from him is the laughter. Whittingham and Mike Ryan, can you please explain to the audience, because we've been negligent here when we just do these podcasts every day, and sometimes it's 11 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and there's uneven schedule, and people have gotten used to the familiar habit of listening to this show for a long time. They get what they get. At 8, 9, 10, and 11, that's how we've been doing it during the pandemic, but this week we're not without telling anybody. So can you guys just tell, because we are planning something here as part of a construct, getting used to a different schedule. There have been a lot of changes around here. Can you explain to the people, without giving away announcements and things that have to be done with a proper protocol, how people are getting this stuff in the event that they're complaining that we're not getting it out fast enough, or now the local hour is coming out a little bit later than it has been?
Is that a thing?
Just explain to the people.
But is it a thing? If it is a thing, I'm sorry. We're trying to be a different show. Every show undergoes evolution, including this one over the course of 20 years, and we're starting our tapings a little bit later now, which means the release times are just going to be shifted a little bit. Everything is up on YouTube. I know Dan mentioned something flippantly that the shows, some of them are on YouTube, some of them aren't. They're all on YouTube, so search it out there. We're growing that YouTube page. But yeah, it's just a shift in approach, and all the great ones do it. We got to reinvent ourselves a little bit. So there, and I don't necessarily think that this is a real complaint. But for those that are bothered by it, I sincerely apologize.
You don't think it's a real complaint?
No, because trust me, our audience complains a lot, and it's not something that I've been flooded with. I think we're in our heads a little bit.
So we get to sleep in a little bit more now, right?
Yeah, no, we're just lazier. That's what it is. The evolution is we're just lazier now, working less hard on the show.
I've been doing that for years.
Evolution isn't real, by the way. The world is only 10,000 years old, and I approve. I asked Bertie Tebbets.
Before we get out of the local hour here, Mike Ryan, before we get out of here, the University of Miami basketball tournament is starting.
Yeah, the ACC tournament is underway. Your Miami Hurricanes men's basketball team is the #1 seed, and they've been given the glorious time slot of noon. As per tradition for #1 seeds, the disrespect is permeating throughout the coverage. Norchad Omier, if you followed Miami basketball this year, Miami's most valuable, important player and best player is baby food, Norchad Omier. He made third team All ACC. Isaiah Wong, credit to him, brilliant Miami career. He won ACC Player of the Year, only the second player in Miami's basketball program history to win ACC Player of the Year, the other being Shane Larkin. I could make a pretty sound argument that Isaiah Wong is Miami's third best player. In fact, if you look at, he may not even be their best guard. Jordan Miller, who's 6'6", an excellent defender, plays out of position and allows Nigel Pack and Zay Wong to occupy the floor at the same time. His offensive statistics are very comparable to Zay Wong's, and I'd argue what he does defensively and what he unlocks for the rest of the team is even more valuable than Isaiah Wong. This is no slight against Isaiah Wong. I feel like ACC voters are just giving credit to what they assume is a best player because they remember last tournament run where Isaiah Wong was brilliant, and they just decided, okay, they won the ACC regular season championship. Surely it must be Isaiah Wong. There is no bigger indictment on the voting process than Norchad Omier, all ACC third team. It was an insult.
Look at this. Mike Ryan is indignant about the voting, and he's not wrong.
And the start time of tomorrow's game.
It is...
I mean, we're not a blue blood. I get it. But I'm happy that Isaiah Wong got it. I think this cements that his jersey will be raised to the rafters in some form or fashion. Miami does that weird thing where they honor jerseys and retire other ones. I think ACC regular season championship, coupled with that Elite Eight run of last year, coupled with now ACC Player of the Year, he's one of Miami's all-time greats. But I don't think he was deserving of ACC Player of the Year. If we were going to give it to a Miami player, I would have gone Norchad Omier. And you can make a very sound argument for Miller.
Well, I was talking to Larrañaga yesterday, not to drop a name, and he told me just that. He said that Isaiah Wong is ACC Player of the Year. Jordan Miller might be the best player in the conference. He said that directly, and that tells you how strong the team is. But the disrespect of this program, because they're not a blue blood, goes way back to the preseason. Coming off an Elite Eight run, they're not even ranked in the preseason poll. There are others receiving votes, not even ranked.
Apologies to Baby Food, who I call Baby Food for a reason, because I think I made him an ESPN poker reporter. It's Norchad.
Not Norchad.
That's you showing my age when I invoke Norchad.
But none of you would be surprised either, because this has happened enough for me, for my eyes not to be lying to me. None of you would be surprised if they get eliminated because Wong has gone 2 for 13 in a game. Correct?
He's got to do that occasionally, and you saw just in that game, that ACC clinching game, Isaiah Wong and Nigel Peck, they didn't really have it going, and you better get some of those eggs out of the way before the tournament because Isaiah Wong will win you a game. The problem with Isaiah Wong is he could also lose you a game, and it's great to have guys like Miller and Omier pick him up.
But tournament time is different, Mike, where he might lose you a game before he wins you a game.
I understand.
Yeah.
But they got what you
Win
look
or
for.
go home now.
They got what you look for. They do have the veteran backcourt with a good head coach.
They do. Yes.
I thought what Baby Food did this season honestly, he's 6'5". He's 6'5". And he's
Really?
taking it. He's
He plays
legitimate.
so much bigger.
He does, and his hair is a little bit taller, but I've stood next to him. He's like 6'5".
They're a small team.
Yeah. And
They're also like not great defensively.
He's also the strongest player in the ACC. He's stronger than these 7-footers. But if you're looking at next level projections, he's going to have to go out on the wings to be an NBA player because it's just he'll have his shot blocked. Right now, he doesn't even have to display a shot from the outside because he gets to the cup with such ease. And it's amazing to watch. What he did against Pitt was phenomenal. They had 3 7-footers, and they had nothing for him. Every player on that Pittsburgh team was afraid of going inside. Omier's been that incredible this season. I was really hurt that he got all ACC third team. This stuff matters to me, probably way too much. But if you watch basketball this season, if you watch Miami regularly, which I don't think ACC voters do because they're busy watching the Blue Bloods, Baby Food's the most important player on this team, and he's the best player.
But Dan, to your point about being able to be eliminated from the tournament because you have a bad individual performance, I think that's why regular season achievements are worth celebrating. I know college basketball is a purely tournament-based sport. It's about your conference tournament and the NCAA tournament. But as a fan, you enjoy the 5 months of the season, and it's why you put something up in the banners when you win a regular season title. That shit matters.
I agree. It doesn't even matter if you win your conference tournament. It doesn't matter if you get knocked out of the NCAA tournament. If you win the regular season ACC championship, you're the best team in the country, period. Congrats to Notre Dame women's basketball.
Do you guys understand why it is that Mike Ryan, because this is a level of fandom that I have never had in my life. Period. I've never cared about anything in sports so much that the equivalent of whatever third team ACC is would make me upset. I've never cared about sports that way in my life, that the voters making someone third team. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. It's just not stuff that I care about. Back when voters were choosing who the actual champions were, as opposed to just giving out awards, the fact that voters would be ill-informed in sports when I've seen my father with a Heisman vote is funny.
It is a weird year in the ACC, though. There isn't that one great player. You can make an argument for a player from Wake and a player from Louisville probably being the best offensive players, yet they're not good in the conference.
You're making the argument that the voters aren't watching Miami games.
They're not. We were stuck on ACC Network while ESPN will naturally do what they should do, I think, if you care about ratings, and just give all the attention to a Duke North Carolina game that doesn't matter at all in the ACC. The only thing on the line was, does Duke get one bye? Right? It's insulting a little bit. And are you filming my Miami takes right now a little bit?
No, I wasn't.
All right.
Just looking at my phone.
I was.
You're just that bored by Miami basketball conversation. I
laugh had a little too much truth in it.
Yeah, I obviously care deeply, and I think this is a massive achievement. And I'm right there with Whitty that I do think that this matters. Hanging up history in the rafters, something to point to, a credible achievement.
Especially that conference.
It's the ACC, man. It matters.
I could not disagree with you more. I don't think most people put that much stock in the regular season. If you go 28-2 in the regular season, but then you don't win your conference, and then you fizzle out in the NCAAs, I don't think there's a fan out there who's going to say, yeah, we had a great year.
I think we should all be watching the ACC tournament today because there's a chance that Syracuse is the first matchup for Miami.
That'd be great.
And I do want that.
Yeah, Boeheim. Yeah.
I would hang a banner for that. Ended Jim Boeheim.
Yeah, that'd be delicious.
Just a banner with his face on it?
This is a revenge game, whether he knows it or not. It's a revenge game.
Boeheim's gonna be running the 2-3 zone until he goes into his grave. He's gonna be coaching until he passes away. Like, he is not stopping.
Juju, put it on the poll, please. Is Boeheim going to be running the 2-3 zone from the cemetery 7 years after he's expired?